Well, good morning and namaste. It's wonderful to be here. It always is. I get such a spiritual charge out of being with this community, and it's exciting for me every couple of months to come back and see growth, to see new faces, and today is no different. And I simply commend you for the work you're doing, for the opportunity you are allowing the people in the greater community to take advantage of this space and this wisdom. I was just thinking as the service was starting about affirmations. This is a community that focuses a lot on affirmations. We say them in the services. It's encouraged that people use them in their daily lives. And it occurred to me, over the past couple of years, I have been called to really hot places. I don't do hot. I mean, I deal with it, of course. I'm a big boy, but I don't seek out hot. And in the last couple of years, I've been to Guyana in South America, Costa Rica. I've been in Florida when I didn't want to be in Florida. I've been in Texas when I would have preferred to have been there at another time of year. I've been in LA when Phoenix, and because this isn't like I'm just saying, well, I think I'm going to take a trip. No, something is calling me there, some work project or family obligation or something pulling me to these hot places. And as much as I enjoyed Costa Rica, it was really, really hot. Unless you're in the mountains, it never changes. November, December, January, it doesn't matter. It is just soul-crushingly hot. And so I affirmed, I am going to take a fast from hot places for a long time. I'm just going to arrange my life. I've been affirming this over the past couple of months. Then this week I get a call. Fred, could we bring you to India to speak at an event next month? And, India, people think of it as a hot place, and a lot of it is, but it has mountainous regions. It has regions up north, which are quite temperate. This is in a city called Hyderabad. I asked Alexa yesterday, what's the weather in Hyderabad for today? And she very chirpily replies, 87 and hazy. That's today. I'm going next month. It's not going to get any better. Now, am I thrilled at the opportunity of going to India and speaking at a spiritual gathering? Absolutely. Of course I'm going to do it. I just wanted to let you know that affirmations sometimes take a little while to kick in. So if you're affirming anything right now and it's just not happening, keep on, because as soon as I get back from India, I'm going to go right back to affirming. No more hot places for a long time. Hopefully the next time India calls me, it'll be to go to Rishikesh, where it is probably snowing in May. That's just how I roll. That's what I enjoy. But anyway, enough about that. I wanted to draw your attention again to the daily word for just a few minutes, because, of course, it is on faith. And the first line is that I carry my faith in God with me throughout the day. I keep my faith at the forefront of my awareness. What does this really mean? What is faith? Now, in the Judeo-Christian Bible, the use of the words belief and faith are kind of intermingled. In the Greek, faith is pistis, all right? And so sometimes pistis lands in English as faith, sometimes as belief. But a great Hindu mystic, Paramhansa Yogananda, said that in his mind, there is a difference between faith and belief. And he draws that from Paul's phrase, the verse in the Pauline, epistle, that says that faith is the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the evidence of things not seen. And he says that there must be a difference between belief and faith. And here's how he would explain it. That belief is the expectation of a reality, right? Now, some people would say faith is simply the expectation of a reality, but he says, no, let's hold off on defining faith for right now. Let's talk about belief. So we can believe in God, we can believe in scriptures, we can believe in one another. And in most instances, these are expectations that we hope will be fulfilled. So if somebody from this community asks to borrow money, I'm going to believe that I'm going to get that money back. It's just, I would believe that. When my wife says that she is going to be somewhere, I believe that she is at that somewhere. However, while I have complete faith and trust in my wife, she could lie to me. What if she was planning a surprise for me and she had to go somewhere to plan that, and she would say, well, I'm shopping, but really she was at a friend's house getting ready for a surprise party for me, right? So I believe she's shopping. No, she's not. She's somewhere else. I don't believe she's doing anything dastardly, but still, I'm wrong. My trust in her at that moment is not being lived up to on her part, which is fine, because I love surprises. But just as an example, I'm believing something and it's wrong. And we often have our beliefs dashed. Sometimes it's just little things such as that. Your spouse tells you or your friend tells you that this is happening when it's not, but it's not for a bad reason. It might be for a good reason. Might be that someone is trying to shield you from some emotional challenge. So whatever it is, the important thing is for what we're trying to communicate is that belief is an expectation. Now, there are some people who are not humble in their spiritual and religious beliefs, and they act like their belief is absolutely real and not to be questioned. Those people who hold to such rigid beliefs and insist that we join them in that belief because whatever we believe is wrong, just because it disagrees with what they believe, right? So, of course, and I certainly see this in this community. I see a humility that we are all gathered here with a belief system that is wrapped in a veil of humility. That yes, this is what we expect. But we honor your belief system because we can't guarantee that our belief system is 100% correct. Of course, we can't guarantee that yours is either. So let's gather together. Let's dialogue if we need. Let's come together in community with that humility that our belief might be wrong. And this is certainly how I live my life. I'm constantly reevaluating what I believe. Now, what is faith? Faith is the evidence of things not seen. The way Yogananda explains it is that faith is intuitive knowledge of reality. It's not an expectation. It is honest reality. Now, there are very few instances where we can say this is this is reality. This is faith. This is evidence of something not seen. And oftentimes, that kind of intuition, that kind of inner knowledge, is something that cannot be explained. And I have used this example before from this very pulpit. The most obvious one is that we exist, right? We exist. We know we exist. If we were asked, well, how do you know? I couldn't explain it. Maybe you're better than I am. I can't explain how I know I exist. I just do. And I would expect that the same is true for all of you. That is intuitive belief. And many great spiritual figures in the past, and they exist today too, have intuited the reality of the world. So for instance, the great Hindu masters of many millennia ago, they described the world in the Vedas, the Hindu scriptures, in a way that comports with what scientists, particularly physicists, are saying about the world. That it is made up of light, that the difference between the light waves and the matter in this physical universe there is no difference. It's the same. That there is more space in this physical universe than there is what we call matter, right? So they were able to intuit this by spiritual practice. And this is what we do when we connect with our spiritual practices, whatever they might be. Intuition is developed. Intuition allows us to see between the lines. Now, the theme of my talk here is listening to God. This is the next part. This is one way that we are able to develop our intuition. In the Dharma tradition, there is a concept called Nada Brahm. Nada Brahm. That is the sound, literally, it means the sound of God. When we were listening to Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth, on the slide, you saw the Om sign. And I'm going to guess that most of you know that Om sign that kind of looks like a 3 with a few other squigglies on it. Om, and I know most people, they've heard the word, they know that it's somehow connected to Eastern religions, but that's about as far as it goes. So I'm going to explain what Om is. Om is Nada Brahm. It is the sound of God. It is the primal vibration. First there was God, who is vibrationless, and then God vibrated, if you will, and the Big Bang, what we call creation, or what I prefer to refer to as manifestation. This is God. We are living in God, an aspect of God. And the clue that we are is that beneath the atoms of this physical space is the sound of God that can be heard, not by our physical ears, but by our subtle ability, that spiritual part of us, that divine part of us, that when we go deep in meditation, we can actually hear sounds not coming from a physical source. As a matter of fact, about 20 or 30 years ago, I remember listening to a news report that science has discovered a hum, that the universe hums. I believe they said it was B flat. And so everybody's going, well, what does that mean? Well, that's the Om. That is Nada Brahm. That is the sound of God, God vibrating. Remember, it's interesting, if you ask people, what is the first thing that God created? And if they refer to Genesis, they say, let there be light. But before there was light, there was God said. There was something. What do you mean God said? I'm sure that God wasn't up there saying things. But what that could mean is that there was a vibration, there was a sound, and out of that sound, the material universe happened. It's kind of fun. But again, everything that I'm telling you could be based on belief. Where does faith or where does intuition come in? That has to be developed. And so oftentimes, belief is a step. Belief is a motivator to get to faith, the way we're defining them right now, right? So, for instance, I read a book on all of this deep spirituality, and it makes sense to me. So I go, okay, I'm going to believe this. I'm going to put my trust in this scripture, whatever it is, or whatever these writings are. I'm going to put my trust in them. So I'm going to have a belief in them, but I may not have an intuitive guarantee, which I would call faith, the evidence of things not seen, the evidence of something that is beyond our senses. Because really, if all we use, and materialists, they will say, if it's not something I can see, touch, smell, hear, or whatever, then I'm not going to believe in it. Okay. But using reason and using logic, which is so important on the spiritual path, it can't get you to that final part, that summit. That you can only apprehend or comprehend by intuition, by that sacred part of us that is beyond the things not seen, not heard, not smelled, and not touched. And by the way, sacred music, the music that we're hearing today, this is a great example. When you hear the lovely music as you're hearing today, if I'm going to ask you, well, why is it love? Why are you enjoying it? Well, I just am. Yeah, but really, why? I can't tell you. Again, it is an intuitive experience. It is something that and I'm not a musicologist, so I can't say something like, well, the tonal composition as they transcend the chords to, I don't know that stuff, okay? Actually, I've heard that there are people who compose music and they actually know the different tones and chords to make people feel certain things. That is beyond me. All I know is when a song moves me, it moves me. And every aspect of music is part of Nada Brahm. This is one way we connect with Nada Brahm, through music, through affirmation, through our speech, especially when it is high-minded speech, when it is noble speech, and when we listen to others, truly listen, and attempt to see, or hear rather, that divine presence within them. That is Nada Brahm. So the only thing I can really share with you is when you go out into the world, keep in mind that God, if you will, that omnipresent, powerful presence in the universe is creating a sound, is allowing us to hear when we open ourselves up to it. There are actual meditation techniques taught by yogis where the subtle ears, not these things, but the subtle ears are opened up to hear what is poetically called the music of the spheres. We won't get into that today, but know that that is an actual practice. But we can all practice in a much simpler way by being attuned, by being aware of the sounds in our life, and to stay away from discordant sounds. We planned that actually just for you. Thanks. Check's in the mail. So I'll leave you with this. Let us just close our eyes and we'll have a brief prayer. To the Father, Mother, Friend, Beloved, Omnipotence, Omnipresence, may we hear you in our lives. May we hear you in the din of activity, in conversation, in music, in nature, and most importantly, may we hear you, may we know your presence in the depths of our soul. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.
Hey, it's Reverend Mike here. I just wanted to stop for a moment before you get on with your day, and thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. It means the world to us, and I just wanted to let you know if there's anything that we can do to make your experience even better, please do not hesitate to reach out by going to our website. I also wanted to offer you the opportunity for us to get together and sit down so I could get to know you a little bit better and answer any questions that you have. I can either do that by either getting together in person, have a cup of coffee, or we can meet online via Zoom. If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at michael@courage2thrive.com. And lastly, if you find these messages are helping you, we would be tremendously grateful if you'd consider donating to the center. The best and the easiest way to do that is simple. Just go to our website. Again, thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Hope you're doing well. God bless, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye now.